Have you ever wondered why some people seem to prosper effortlessly, while others work twice as hard and barely make it through the month? It's not luck, it's not connections, it's something far deeper, a set of eternal laws that silently govern prosperity. And today, you're about to uncover two biblical businesses that can completely transform your financial life, even if you start with $0. The secret isn't in the world's system, it's in God's system, a system that has worked flawlessly for thousands of years and still works today for those who understand it. The second business I'll reveal has quietly created more millionaires in history than any other path. But before we even talk about money, I need you to understand something powerful, because what you're about to hear is not just information, it's revelation. So stay with me until the end and write in the comments right now, "God, open my mind to your divine wisdom." That single declaration will prepare your heart for what's coming next. When people hear the phrase biblical business, they often imagine something ancient, outdated, maybe even symbolic. But the truth is far more astonishing. The Bible is the most advanced manual on wealth, wisdom, and leadership that humanity has ever known. Its principles are not stuck in the past. They are alive today, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who have the eyes to see and the courage to act. So let me reveal to you the first business model that aligns perfectly with those divine principles. A business you can start today, even if you don't have a single dollar in your account. It's called affiliate marketing, and though it may sound modern, its roots are deeply biblical. Think about this. You've probably spent your whole life recommending things you love. A movie that inspired you, a restaurant that amazed you, a book that changed your perspective. You told your friends about it passionately, expecting nothing in return. And yet, those companies profited from your enthusiasm while you earned nothing. Now imagine transforming that same habit, that genuine desire to share what works, into a divine system of value exchange, one that blesses you financially and others spiritually. That's exactly what affiliate marketing does. It allows you to recommend products or services created by others without owning inventory, warehouses, or expensive equipment. You simply connect needs with solutions, and for that act of service, you're rewarded fairly. But here's where it gets powerful. In the book of Galatians 6:7, it says, "Do not be deceived, God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap." Affiliate marketing is a perfect reflection of that verse. When you sow trust, honesty, and genuine value into people's lives, you inevitably reap results, not only commissions, but relationships, influence, and spiritual growth. Every time you recommend something that truly helps others, you are planting seeds of integrity, and those seeds grow into abundance. The kind that multiplies quietly, almost invisibly, until one day you wake up and realize your faithfulness has created something extraordinary. You see, Jesus himself practiced this principle in his ministry. After healing the man possessed by demons in Mark 5:19, he didn't tell him to stay close or follow him physically. Instead, he said, "Go home to your people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you." Jesus turned him into a messenger, a living testimony, in modern terms, an affiliate of the kingdom. That man didn't sell a product. He simply shared his transformation, and through his words, countless others came to faith. That's the essence of the affiliate model, sharing what transformed you so others may be transformed too. Now imagine applying this divine model in today's digital world. You don't need a company. You don't need to invent anything. You just need a phone, an internet connection, and a heart full of purpose. Start with what you already have: your experiences, your recommendations, your authenticity. You can partner with companies that already sell valuable courses, books, or services aligned with your values. When someone buys through your link, you earn a portion. Simple, ethical, biblical. Let's talk numbers to understand the potential. There are thousands of affiliate programs online that pay between 30% and 50% commission. If a product costs $200 and you earn 40%, that's $80 per sale. 10 sales in a month equals $800 without creating a single product. But beyond the money, you are embodying the very principle Jesus taught, to multiply what's in your hands and to serve others in the process. Proverbs 11:24 reminds us, there is one who scatters and yet increases all the more, and there is one who withholds what is justly due, and it results only in poverty. When you freely share knowledge, when you give first, when you create genuine value for others before expecting anything in return, you are aligning yourself with a divine law that guarantees growth. This is not manipulation, it's stewardship. God blesses those who use their voice and influence to lift others, and every time you help someone find something that blesses their life, you are planting a spiritual and financial seed that cannot die. I've seen people start with nothing. No website, no following, no fancy camera, and within months, they were earning consistent income simply by sharing what worked for them. Some began by recommending small items from Amazon. At first, they made just a few dollars, but they were faithful. They refined their message, served better, created helpful content, and before long, their consistency turned into overflow. Affiliate marketing teaches you something the Bible repeats endlessly. Prosperity begins when you serve before you sell, when you bless before you expect, when you help before you ask. That is why God's economy never fails. It rewards generosity, not greed. And if you apply this principle long enough, your results will speak louder than any sermon. So if this message is awakening something in you, if you feel God nudging your heart to take a step toward divine multiplication, write in the comments right now, Lord, teach me to multiply what's already in my hands, because that declaration alone can open a door you didn't know existed. When you truly understand the divine principle behind affiliate marketing, you stop seeing it as just a business model and start recognizing it as a spiritual discipline. Because what you're really doing is serving through your words. You are connecting those in need with the solutions that can transform them. And in that act of service, God rewards you. The world calls it sales. Heaven calls it stewardship. Let's look at it this way. When Jesus sent his disciples into the towns, he did not say, "Go and get rich." He said, "Go and share what you have seen and heard." That was a divine commission, the first network of kingdom ambassadors the world had ever seen. Every disciple became a living link between God's miracles and those who still needed hope. That's what affiliate marketing really is at its core. A network of trust, a system of multiplication based on service and integrity. You see, the enemy wants people to believe that prosperity must come from exploitation, from taking advantage of others. But the Word of God teaches the opposite. It says in Proverbs 11:25, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." When you help someone find something that truly benefits them, you are refreshing them. And God, who sees every hidden intention, will refresh you in return. That's why this business model is so powerful for believers, because it allows you to prosper without compromising your faith. It lets you build income on the foundation of honesty, service, and usefulness. Picture this: a single video you make today, sharing your story and recommending something that genuinely helped you, could be watched by thousands for years. Each view is a seed. Each seed has the potential to bear fruit long after you've moved on to something else. That is divine leverage, turning your time into a harvest that keeps growing even while you sleep. Some people don't see results immediately and give up too soon. But in God's economy, the first test is always faithfulness in the invisible season. The seed has to die in the soil before it breaks through the surface. If you keep sowing valuable content, keep learning, keep serving, that breakthrough will come, not because of luck, but because of divine law. Galatians 6:9 promises this: "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Affiliate marketing teaches you to live that verse daily, to give before receiving, to trust before seeing, to build before earning. And one day, you'll look back and realize that your digital content became a living legacy, a stream of blessings flowing to you and through you to others. I know people who started by sharing motivational books and faith-based courses online. Their first month, they earned less than $20, but instead of quitting, they saw those $20 as proof that the system works. They refined their message, learned marketing ethics, and grew their audience organically. A few years later, they're earning 4 to 5 figures monthly, all while sharing content that inspires people and glorifies God. You see, in the world system, influence is about ego, but in God's system, influence is about impact. The bigger your impact, the more He trusts you with increase. That's why you must never approach this as selling. You're serving. And service is sacred. Every time you recommend something that makes a life better, you're echoing the heart of Christ, the ultimate giver, the ultimate connector between humanity and salvation. Affiliate marketing is not about money first. It's about faith in action, believing that God can use your voice, your creativity, your network, to create overflow without exploitation. So, before we move to the second business model, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I ready to serve others through what I know? Because if you are, you already hold the first key to prosperity. And if this message is resonating deep within you, I want you to write below, "Lord, I will be faithful with what's in my hands." That comment is not just text, it's a seed. And every seed of faith attracts a harvest of favor. Take a deep breath, because what comes next will shift your entire perspective on wealth. You're about to discover the second business that the Bible not only approves, but uses as a blueprint for generational abundance. Now that you understand how the principle of sowing and reaping operates in the world of affiliate marketing, let me reveal to you the second divine business, the one that has quietly created more wealth, more family legacies, and more freedom than any other system on earth. It is the real estate business, a field that might seem unreachable for many, but in God's design, it's perfectly attainable for those who walk with wisdom, prudence, and faith. Before your mind says, "But I don't have money to buy properties," pause that thought, because what I'm about to show you is not about owning buildings. It's about understanding how God's principles of stewardship and multiplication work through property, even when you start with nothing. Proverbs 24:3-4 declares, "By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge the rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." Those 3 words, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, are not poetic. They are the 3 pillars of successful real estate, and the same 3 that sustain every form of divine prosperity. Wisdom helps you see opportunities others ignore. Understanding keeps you from making foolish decisions, and knowledge fills your life and your home with tangible abundance. You see, the real estate world isn't just about buildings and land. It's about providing shelter, stability, and value to others, which means it's one of the purest forms of service. Let me open your eyes to something powerful. In almost every era, those who owned or managed property controlled influence. Even in Scripture, land represented covenant, inheritance, and divine promise. That's why God gave Israel not just freedom, but territory. Without land, there is no legacy. Without stewardship, there is no multiplication. And today, God is still in the business of giving land. But now, it may come through wisdom instead of warfare. So let's make this practical. There are 3 biblical ways to enter the real estate business, even if you start with no capital. 1. The steward's path, managing property for others. This strategy is ancient, and it still works today. You don't need to own property to benefit from it. You can manage it for others, acting as a faithful steward between owners and tenants. In your city right now, there are countless apartments sitting empty, homes abandoned because their owners live abroad, commercial spaces losing money month after month because no one is managing them. Each one of those is a silent opportunity, waiting for a faithful servant to bring order, structure, and profit. You can approach property owners and offer to handle everything for them, finding reliable tenants, drafting contracts, collecting rent, maintaining communication. In exchange, you earn a fair commission, usually 10 to 15% of the monthly rent. If one apartment rents for $800 a month, that's $80 flowing to you month after month for simply managing the connection. Handle 10 such properties, and that's $800 in recurring income without owning a single square foot. This is the principle of divine stewardship. You use what belongs to others, serve faithfully, and God multiplies your reward. It's the same principle in Luke 16:10. He who is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. You're not chasing money, you're building trust. And trust multiplies faster than capital. 2. The multiplication model, legal subleasing. Now, the second way requires creativity and ethics. It's called subleasing, and when done properly, it's perfectly legitimate. Here's how it works. You rent a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment in a strategic area near universities, business centers, or tourist districts. You pay $700 in total rent. Then you rent out each room individually for $300. That's $900 in revenue, leaving $200 of profit monthly for that one property. Now multiply that by 3 apartments. That's $600 of consistent passive income. 5 apartments, $1,000 or more, month after month, simply by managing space efficiently. But don't miss the deeper lesson here. This is not about taking advantage of landlords or tenants. It's about creating order where there was waste. You're turning empty rooms into homes for people in need. You're multiplying value, and that's exactly what God rewards. Remember the parable of the talents in Matthew 25. The servant who multiplied what he was given heard these words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And those are the same words that echo every time you turn potential into productivity. 3. The prophetic principle of leverage. Using knowledge as capital. The third strategy is known as wholesaling, but I like to call it divine leverage. Here's what it means. You identify properties being sold below market value, maybe by families going through hardship, relocations, or urgent needs. You negotiate a fair purchase price, not to exploit, but to create opportunity. Then, you find an investor willing to pay slightly more for that same property. You assign the contract to them and earn the difference, sometimes $5,000, $10,000, even $20,000. Without ever owning the house yourself, you didn't use money. You used knowledge, discernment, and timing. The same 3 tools Joseph used when he managed Pharaoh's resources and saved Egypt from famine. This is the wisdom economy. It's what happens when you combine prayer with prudence and revelation with real-world strategy. In Proverbs 13:11 we read, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." That's the heart of real estate. It's not quick money, it's patient prosperity. You build it brick by brick, deal by deal, season by season. Each property you manage, each contract you negotiate, each relationship you nurture becomes another stone in your foundation of abundance. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that you've built something eternal, not just wealth, but legacy, because real estate isn't just about owning land. It's about occupying purpose. It's about using what God entrusts to you to bless generations beyond your own. So ask yourself this. If God gave you the opportunity to manage abundance, would you be ready to handle it wisely? If your answer is yes, type in the comments below, "Lord, teach me to build with wisdom and purpose," because those who build with wisdom never lack foundation, and those who build with purpose never collapse. You've now seen how two modern opportunities, affiliate marketing and real estate, align perfectly with the eternal wisdom of Scripture. But the truth is even greater. The business model is not what creates prosperity. It's the principles behind it, the spiritual laws God set in motion long before banks, markets, or systems existed. If you ignore these principles, even the best opportunity will fade. But if you honor them, every seed you plant, no matter how small, will multiply. Let's uncover the 10 principles that make any business, any dream, any calling unshakable. 1. Faithfulness in the small. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful with very little will also be faithful with much." This is the divine entry test. Before God gives you more, He watches what you do with what you already have. If you can manage $100 wisely, He'll trust you with $10,000. If you can serve one client with excellence, He'll bring you 1,000. Faithfulness in the unseen seasons is what unlocks favor in public ones. So don't despise small beginnings. They're the foundation of promotion. Every great kingdom builder once started with nothing but obedience. 2. The law of generous sowing in 2 Corinthians 9:6. Paul wrote, "Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously." Generosity is not a transaction, it's a trigger. When you give, teach, or serve without calculating the return, you activate a spiritual current that flows back to you multiplied. In affiliate marketing, that means offering value first. In real estate, it means helping before profiting. In life, it means planting good wherever you go, because what you plant will chase you in harvest form. Never underestimate the quiet power of consistent generosity. 3. The principle of leverage and multiplication. God never asked you to rely only on your strength. He asked you to multiply your strength by using wisdom, relationships, and opportunity. In Matthew 25, the servant who multiplied his talents used leverage. He worked through others, through systems, through time itself. That's how the kingdom grows, through strategic multiplication. In affiliate marketing, leverage is digital. One video can impact thousands. In real estate, leverage is financial, managing what belongs to others while building trust and income. But in both cases, the secret is the same. Use what's in your hand to reach beyond your limits. 4. The law of excellent service. The world says, work less, earn more. But the kingdom says, serve better, rise higher. Jesus said in Mark 10:43, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." When you serve with excellence, you open doors that money can't. People remember service long after they forget prices. A single act of integrity can become a river of referrals, connections, and blessings. In God's economy, the servant becomes the leader because excellence always promotes. So wherever you are, serve as if you're serving the King himself, because in truth you are. 5. Integrity and reputation. The currency of heaven. Proverbs 22:1 teaches, "A good name is more desirable than great riches." Your name is your greatest asset. Your integrity is your credit in the kingdom. Never exaggerate results. Never promise what you can't deliver. Never trade long-term trust for short-term gain. When people can trust your word, God can trust your hands. Integrity compounds like interest. The more you keep your word, the more doors He opens. 6. Diligence, the hidden engine of promotion. Proverbs 22:29 says, "Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings." You don't need perfection, you need consistency. Show up daily, improve slowly, track your progress faithfully. Design your days with discipline. Plan your content, organize your finances, measure your results. What you measure, you can multiply. Small improvements done daily defeat massive efforts done rarely. The anointing flows where there is order, not chaos. And wisdom as the unfair advantage. James 1:5 promises that if anyone lacks wisdom, they can ask God, and He will give generously without finding fault. The most successful people aren't the luckiest, they're the most teachable. They listen, they learn, they apply. Every book, every conversation, every mistake becomes part of their spiritual portfolio. In your business, never stop learning. In your walk with God, never stop listening, because divine revelation is the difference between random success and strategic success. 8. Stewardship and financial planning. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Budget what comes in. Save what you can. Reinvest in your growth. Be generous without being careless. Tithing, giving, saving. They're not rules, they're rhythms. Each one trains your heart to handle increase with humility. The goal is not to hoard wealth, but to manage it for purpose. God promotes those who plan, not those who gamble." D9. Patience and perseverance. Galatians 6:9 reminds us again, "Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up." There will be months when nothing seems to move, seasons when you question if your effort matters, but the soil is never silent. It's working underground. Patience is not waiting passively. It's continuing faithfully. Every delay hides a divine preparation. Your consistency is the bridge between sowing and reaping. 10. Purpose, the final principle of kingdom wealth. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." Purpose is what gives direction to prosperity. Without it, money becomes noise. With it, money becomes ministry. God doesn't bless you to make you famous. He blesses you to make you useful. Your wealth has a mission: to lift others, to spread wisdom, to fund light in dark places. When your motives align with His heart, success is no longer a chase, it's a calling. So before you seek more, ask yourself, why do I want more? If the answer is to serve more, to give more, to build more for His glory, then you're already walking the road of divine prosperity. Take a deep breath. Let these words settle in your heart. This is not motivation. This is alignment. You've now learned the strategies, the principles, and the mindset that form the foundation of biblical wealth. And if this message spoke to your spirit, declare it publicly. God, multiply my talents abundantly. Write it in the comments below as an act of faith, because the moment you declare it, heaven takes note. You are not chasing riches. You are stepping into your assignment. You are aligning your work with eternal purpose, and that, my friend, is the true definition of prosperity in God's kingdom. Take a moment to breathe. Close your eyes if you can. You've just traveled through divine principles that have existed since the beginning of creation. Laws written not on paper, but on the very fabric of life itself. And now, it's time to make a decision. Not a decision of the mind, but of the heart. Because everything you've heard today isn't just information, it's an invitation. An invitation to become the kind of person God can trust with abundance. An invitation to walk differently, think differently, and live with divine intention. Imagine this. It's early morning. The world is still quiet. You wake up not with fear, but with focus. You look at your hands, the same hands you once thought were empty, and now you realize they were never empty at all. They were filled with seeds, seeds of wisdom, seeds of service, seeds of potential waiting for faith to water them. You understand now that prosperity isn't something you chase. It's something you grow into when your heart and actions align with God's order. Every principle we've uncovered, faithfulness, generosity, leverage, integrity, diligence, patience, purpose, they're not just business lessons. They're spiritual blueprints for building a life that outlasts you. Think of it this way. Affiliate marketing teaches you to speak truth with purpose, to use your voice as a bridge of blessing. Real estate teaches you to build structure and stability, to occupy and multiply territory with wisdom. One is about your words. The other is about your foundations. Together, they mirror the very nature of creation. God spoke and then He built. He declared light and then formed the earth. He gave vision and then gave structure. And that's exactly what He's calling you to do now. To speak life into your vision and to build something that glorifies Him long after you're gone. Maybe you've failed before. Maybe you've tried things that didn't work. Maybe people told you you're not cut out for success, that you're not business-minded, that you're too late, too old, too tired, too broke. But let me remind you, Moses started his mission at 80. Abraham built wealth as a wanderer. Joseph went from prison to palace because of wisdom, not inheritance. And Jesus built a kingdom that still stands without ever owning a company, a building, or a coin in His name. So if you think your situation disqualifies you, remember, God always begins with what the world ignores. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Everything you've lost, every delay, every closed door was not rejection. It was redirection. Because sometimes God has to break your routine to reveal your real assignment. Now listen closely. The season of fear is ending. The season of waiting without acting is ending. This is your appointed time to build, to rise, to create, to lead, to serve. If you've been praying for confirmation, this is it. This message is your confirmation. You didn't stumble onto this video by accident. He brought you here because He's calling you higher. The same God who multiplied a widow's oil, who filled Peter's nets, who turned Joseph's management into national wealth, that same God is about to multiply what's in your hands. But you must move. You must act on what you've learned. Faith without action is just admiration. From this moment forward, speak differently. Think differently. Walk differently. Start seeing every interaction, every skill, every opportunity as part of your divine assignment. When you help others grow, God helps you rise. When you serve with excellence, heaven takes notice. And when you give with pure motives, heaven gives back in ways no system on earth can match. Don't chase blessings. Become the kind of person blessings chase. Don't run after wealth. Attract it by becoming a good steward of what you already have. Don't compare your journey. Complete it faithfully, because when you walk in purpose, everything you need walks toward you. And before we close, I want you to do something prophetic right now. In the comments below, write these words: Lord, I'm ready for divine multiplication. Don't just type them, declare them, because your words carry power. Proverbs 18:21 says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. When you speak life over your finances, your mind and your future, you invite heaven to align with your declaration. Write it with conviction. Say it aloud, and let it echo in your spirit until you believe it. As you end this message, imagine yourself standing at the threshold of a new chapter. A chapter where wisdom replaces fear, where discipline replaces chaos, where faith replaces doubt. This is not the end of a video. This is the beginning of your transformation. You now carry principles that can't fail because they come from a source that never fails. Use them with humility. Apply them with consistency. Share them with love. And if this message has spoken to your soul, I want you to pause and whisper one final prayer. God, I dedicate my work, my mind, and my resources to you. Teach me to build wealth with purpose and to use it for your glory. Let that be your covenant today, because the moment you align your purpose with His will, you won't just make a living, you'll make a difference. And remember this always: wealth built on wisdom is eternal. Riches built on greed vanish like smoke. You are chosen to build the first kind. If this message has awakened something in you, if it reminded you that faith and finance can walk hand in hand, share your heart below. Write your declaration. Tell others what principle touched you the most. Your comment could be the seed that inspires someone else's breakthrough. And as you leave this space, go with the peace of knowing that you are not walking alone. Heaven is partnering with you. Favor is following you. Doors are already opening ahead of you. This is Messiah Speaks, where faith meets wisdom and purpose meets prosperity. Until next time, walk in grace, build with vision, and never forget. The blessing isn't in what you hold, it's in how you use it.